Hey guys, and welcome to a speculation video where we're going to be talking about Episode 8. This is ChrisCross Media. I'm Chris.
I'm Joe.
And we have 8 different points to basically talk about Episode 8. And we're going to break this down into 2 parts because we can pretty much talk a lot about this. The points that we're going to be bringing up is who's Rey, what's Luke Skywalker's role within Episode 8 and in Episode 9, who is the Snoke character, and Maz, like what is her connection to the whole story? I think there's a lot of speculation there and who she is. And so I'm just going to go ask you first, Joe. Who is Rey? What do we know about her now, and what do you think we're going to learn about her in Episode 8?
That's kind of a loaded question as of late, because there's controversy over who Rey is. And it is my personal belief that she is a Skywalker, not a Kenobi. And I think that there's plenty of evidence that provides foundation for this claim, in that she finds the lightsaber and she has the premonition of where Luke is at the end when Kylo Ren is interrogating her. So to answer your question, I think that she is Rey Skywalker.
Yeah, so that you brought up something very interesting, that a lot of people online are saying that she's a Kenobi. And to back those claims up, there are some very strong points to be made when she has the lightsaber premonition, when she grabs the lightsaber and she has that vision. You can hear the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi telling her to take those steps. She also is force sensitive. She uses the Jedi mind tricks. She is also wearing very Obi-Wan Kenobi style clothes, which also just happens to be Jedi garb, so or Tatooine garb. So I mean, take that as you will. And it would be interesting to have a Kenobi in the new sequel trilogy, because a Kenobi has been very present throughout the entire series.
Well, you know what I just thought of that they always bring up, but then they just ignore the fact of what other voices were in that scene?
You Vader. You had Yoda's voice.
Yoda. So then it would appear as though there's just as much of a possibility of her being a Yoda offspring in some manifestation as an Obi-Wan Kenobi offspring.
Again, these are just speculation and things that fans have been bringing up. The fact that she also has an accent, a British accent, like Obi-Wan Kenobi did. I'm not saying she's a Kenobi. I do believe that she is more of a Skywalker. I think it just makes more sense. The way that they were looking at each other at the end of the movie as she held the lightsaber, the way that he kind of knew who she was. Even Leia, when she saw her, she kind of embraced her as if she was family. I think that she is a Skywalker. I think that's what we're going to see throughout the stories. Now, I guess this could lead into the second point. What is Luke Skywalker's role? So he, in the story, started a new generation of Jedi, which it turned out terrible because one of his pupils, Ben Solo, turned evil and turned into Kylo Ren and basically killed off all the students. You and I have speculated that he actually killed Rey's mother, who is Luke's wife.
Yes.
That is our speculation.
Yes.
So, why don't you go into a little detail about that, which I think is very interesting.
Well, I would have just said that he shivved her. I think it would have just been they were training, she just popped in, maybe you guys want lemonade, and then Kylo Ren or at the time, Obi-Wan Solo, or Ben Solo, he just killed her. I think she just got in the way. And I don't know if that there's going to be an entire timeline that shows that there was this huge battle between the two of them. I think it was kind of, he was doing it to prove himself possibly to Snoke that he was sinister and deserving of the dark side of the Sith powers.
Because he does have this fascination and weird love for Vader, for his grandfather, which is very interesting because in the movie he puts his helmet down in ashes. And I later found out through an interview with J.J. Abrams, those ashes, it's not just sand, it's actually Vader's ashes. And he talks to the helmet as if the helmet's speaking to him. And I have a theory, and this is kind of backed up with one of the art books that is released for the movie, that the spirit of Anakin and Darth Vader split into 2 after the passing of Vader. And there's the dark side, and then there's the light side of the Force Ghost. And I think that this Anakin Darth Vader ghost is actually possessing him. And that is why Kylo is what he is. And I think that Snoke, whoever he really is, whether he be Plagueis or an entirely different entity, that we don't necessarily know, I think that he knows that Vader is speaking through Kylo. That is why there is this uproar of the dark side now.
Yeah, it makes sense to me that there would be a darker version of the Ghost, because he was Darth Vader for a prolonged amount of time, but before that he was Anakin for a decent amount of time, so his spirit would be conflicted. And if he doesn't have all the ashes, he could just be seeing the apparition of the evil version of Anakin, which would be Darth Vader.
Yeah, and there's a quote that I read in the book. It said that when you light a candle, it also casts the shadow. So the idea of Anakin going back to the light side and embracing that, the dark side is still there, which is very interesting to think about.
They had a bunch of themes throughout the entire film of the light side versus the dark side. The final scene where the planet blows up, the sun gets absorbed, you can't see it anymore. When the sun goes down, that's when, spoiler alert, Kylo Ren kills Han Solo's. When the sun goes down, the light side was losing. And then when they blow up the base, the sun overcomes the planet, which is the light side winning. When they get the reinforcements from the Resistance, not the Rebels, the Resistance, they're coming from the sun and they're attacking the dark. So they kept having all these different visuals of the dichotomy of the dark side and light throughout the entire film.
And I do want to jump back to Luke Skywalker. Something that you caught that I think is very interesting is when he's standing there on the cliff edge, there is a tombstone in front of him, which I've looked online and I've seen the images, and it's definitely a tombstone. Mm-hmm. But I haven't seen many people talk about it. So you and I have been discussing what that could be, and it could be a shrine to his father, where he could have the remaining ashes, and he sprinkled it there. So the light side of his spirit is on that island where the Jedi first started. I think that could be very interesting. We talked about how he was the last person to see Yoda, so maybe he grabbed his garbs and made a little shrine for him.
I think it could possibly even be Rey's mother.
I do think that we're going to see some sort of Darth Vader Anakin in Episode VIII. Another very interesting character that we see in the movie and teased, but we don't learn much about, is Maz Kanata.
She's the chick with the four eyes, the big old glasses on her eyes.
And she's orange. So she's been around for thousands of years. 1,000 years? Is that what Han said? She's had this watering hole for 1,000 years. So she's basically, in terms of characters, she's like Yoda. I think she's the Yoda of this series. She's very familiar with the Force, but she's not a Jedi. Mm-hmm. There was a scene film, apparently, where she uses the Force to break a ceiling to drop on stormtroopers while Han and the rest are escaping. I don't know, what do you think about this character? Do you think we're going to see her again? Is she going to pop up?
I think her character is going to be explored more in Rogue One. I think in Rogue One they're going to.
You think they're going to have her in Rogue One?
Oh yeah, she's 1,000 years old. She's been around.
Cool. I liked her character. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot more mystery to her, and how she got the lightsaber I think is very interesting. I don't know if we're going to see it. I think it's going to be left kind of a mystery, like she's this all-knowing character that just happened to get this mystical item, like it was the power of the Force that it somehow got into her hands. Honestly, I would like to see Yoda as a Force ghost. I think that would be amazing. The idea of Luke looking at a shrine, my first thoughts were, oh, that'd be amazing if that was Yoda. It's like he made a little shrine to him. And you get to see the Force ghost of Yoda.
That'd be cool if he had a Force ghost of Yoda and then the Ghost Adventures came in.
A who?
It's the ghost of Yoda, and all of them appeared, and then the Ghost Adventures tried to come in and try to see if they're haunted, if the ashes,
That'd be really funny. A Ghost Adventures with the Star Wars ghosts, that'd be amazing.
And then they're using the Force to mess with them.
Well, that should be a whole thing in itself. That'd be Star Wars Episode 11. But thanks again, guys, for watching Part 1. These are just a couple points that we're bringing up. We have many more points for Part 2. Check us out at ChrisCross Media, where we are doing a Star Wars month, the Frost Awakens, celebrating the cold, as we do here at ChrisCross Media. Thanks again, guys. I'm Chris.
I'm Joe.
And you've just been ChrisCross. Peace out.